Hello my friends.
Welcome all guests of the fair.
Today we are going to talk about important reasons why you should stop buying Darkmoon Faire packs.
We will analyze every detail, and also tell you about the mini set and the new rewards track update. Let's briefly talk about the popularity of sets in the meta game. To do this, we analyzed the most popular decks for all archetypes.
The most popular cards in the current meta decks are cards from Scholomance Academy. On average, a 30-card deck contains 7 cards from this set. Ashes of Outland is also still relevant.
The worst set is Galakrond's Awakening. The popularity of cards from this set is only 1%. Thus, you can only find 1 card from this adventure in every third deck, which is an incredibly bad result. This mini set has never had a significant impact on the meta game, and now it has become almost completely useless. The first 2 sets of the Year of the Dragon have almost completely lost their relevance. Descent of Dragons is definitely the best set of the Year of the Dragon, and still performs very well.
Despite the fact that the classic set contains almost twice as many cards as any other set, its influence remains very small.
What about the Darkmoon Faire?
On average, a 30-card deck contains only 5 cards from the new set. This is one of the lowest results for new sets that we have ever recorded. So, the first reason why you shouldn't buy Darkmoon Faire is the very low set impact on deck building. Many players mistakenly believe that the latest packs are always the best choice to buy. This is not true. As you can see, each set has its own unique impact on the game.
Before we continue, we want to remind you that we cannot create content without your support. We will be infinitely grateful to you for sponsoring or liking this video, and subscribing to the channel.
Our sponsors have the exclusive opportunity to beta test our algorithm, which helps to determine your prospective level of the rewards track and the total amount of gold you may earn overall. Each patron will receive a personalized image with calculations. In the future, we plan to conduct beta testing among random subscribers. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the chance to get a personal forecast. Our main goal is to determine whether the new progress system is as terrible as all YouTubers and Reddit users claim.
Now let's talk about the Darkmoon Faire set in more detail. The popularity of the set is 18%. 96 cards out of 135 are seen in the meta game.
The popularity of legendary cards is 26%, which means that every 4th card in meta decks belongs to the Darkmoon Faire. This is a very good result. 17 legendary cards are useful, but only 15 of them have more than 1% popularity so far. The set contains very few useful epics, with only 9 out of 23 with a popularity above 1%.
Also on the screen you can see the top 3 legendary cards and top 5 epic cards.
Let's look at the benefits of buying these packs. Potentially, your first pack will bring you 3 or 4 useful cards out of 5. However, after your 30th opened pack your benefit will be greatly reduced, since you are guaranteed to have already collected all common cards. At this point you'll only find 0.7 useful cards per pack. Thus, you'd need to open 4 packs to find 3 useful cards. After your 60th pack, you will stop receiving new rare cards. After that, each pack will contain only 0.1 useful cards. Thus, on average, you will need to purchase almost 10 packs to find 1 useful card. Most likely it will be an epic card, since the chance of getting 1 useful epic card is 3 times higher than getting a useful legendary card.
As you can see, your benefit from buying packs will be significantly reduced after purchasing the first 60 packs. Therefore, the legendary and epic cards in the rewards track have great value that most players are still ignoring.
Here is an example. Imagine that after your 60th pack you decide to purchase 40 more packs. On average, you will receive 8 epic cards, 5 of which will be completely useless, as well as 2 legendary cards, of which only 1 will be useful. The second legendary will either be useless or have less than 1% popularity. Thus, your benefit from purchasing 40 additional Darkmoon Faire packs will be negligible. You will receive approximately 2,000 dust, 3 useful epic cards and 1 legendary, and 6 useless cards for your collection. Of course, it is possible that the cards that are currently useless will find a place in the meta in the future, but this only happens rarely.
The new set did not have a significant impact on the metagame and is a huge disappointment. New strategies are ineffective and not very popular. Players should stop investing money and gold in the new set, as it simply has no future, right?
Not really, Dora. I love the new cards and strategies, but they definitely don't have a significant impact on the matter. Perhaps after the rotation and release of the mini set, new archetypes will become stronger.
By the way, what do you think of the mini set? Do you really believe that it will make a difference? The developers claim that regular mini sets will help refresh the metagame. How do you feel about this idea in
We
general?
really enjoyed the special mid-expansions events from last year, the huge Boomsday buff, the free Snip Snap, and also the return of wild cards. Even though these events damaged game balance, they were good ideas. But the release of Galakrond's Awakening Adventure turned out to be a huge disappointment for us. We even made a special video explaining why this was bad for the economy. We claimed that Blizzard forced us to spend gold, yet this did not create any reaction from the community. Seriously, none of the large Hearthstone YouTubers supported us. By the way, you should watch that video, it has become prophetic. What can we expect next? 6 sets of cards per year or more?
Guys, I disagree with you. It was a very good deal. For just 2,800 gold, we were guaranteed to receive a full collection of mini set cards, and we also received 4 legendary and 8 epic cards. Plus, Blizzard didn't force us to buy a new adventure. We were able to create the necessary cards from dust. It was extremely beneficial.
This is very strange logic. In my opinion, you would get much more benefit if mini sets did not appear in the game. But unfortunately the community thinks differently.
I understand that mini sets make the game more expensive, but at the same time, every release of new cards results in a lot of fun.
Dora, I agree, but how many cards do you really need to be happy? Perhaps developers should significantly increase the number of cards in their sets or release new sets every month. Hearthstone currently contains 1,254 cards in standard mode. Isn't that enough? There are more and more cards every year, and as they are added, it becomes more difficult for developers to balance the game. I don't believe that 35 additional cards can significantly change the game for the better. In 2015, we only got 1 big expansion and 2 mini sets. In 2021 we will receive 3 large expansions and an additional 3 mini sets. At the same time, the number of free rewards and resources has not changed significantly over the years.
Rewards track in its current form takes away about 300 or 500 gold for completing quests, but gives valuable rewards. The system of gaining XP allows many players to get more resources. Thanks to the next update, most players are guaranteed to receive more gold. Of course, not all players will get more. But in general, only gold farmers and fans of aggro decks suffered significantly. But this caused a flurry of protests and boundless community resentment.
Galakrond's Awakening stole 2,800 gold from all free-to-play players in exchange for almost useless cards. This led to the fact that players were able to buy 27 fewer Ashes of Outland packs, yet players were happy.
According to our survey, 68% of players would rather have the 35 Galakrond's Awakening cards, and only 5% of the players were strongly opposed. The players expressed their desire to buy more cards quite loudly. Blizzard in turn decided to fulfill the wishes of the players.
Please understand me, I believe that the meta should always remain fresh, and new cards are always fun. But what prevents Blizzard from buffing old cards that have failed to reach their potential? What's stopping the developers from creating free sets during special events or returning some cards from wild mode? What prevents them from making events more frequent and more interesting? Christmas is coming soon, it would be cool to get a special little Winter Veil set of cards for just a few weeks for free. It seems to me that it would have a much more positive effect on the game than mini sets, and would not make the game more expensive again.
In my opinion, we do not need large sets with insufficient amounts of synergies, and we also do not need mini sets that will fill in the gaps of large sets. I may be wrong, but it seems to me that some of the important cards from Darkmoon Faire have been moved to the mini set.
Hearthstone is a very expensive game. The balance of free resources is very fragile. If mini sets destroy this balance, free-to-play players will be forced to leave the game over time, and premium players' costs will increase significantly. The negative effect will not come immediately, you will just have to spend more gold on packs and more dust on crafting cards, but over time your resources will gradually decrease.
That's just terrible. Guys, you must join the protests and demand the cancellation of mini sets.
Dora, don't jump to conclusions. We know very little about the new mini set, and we cannot predict the impending damage. Perhaps it will be a disaster, or vice versa. The damage will be almost negligible, and we will have a ton of fun.
You may need to purchase 50 additional packs to get all the new cards, or you maybe need only 20 packs. The developers have already announced a significant rewards track update. Perhaps even more unexpected surprises await us in the future.
Guys, what do you think of the new rewards track update? The community has finally achieved some justice.
Of course, these changes do not solve all the problems of the new rewards system, but this is a very important update that makes the system even more convenient for most players. I'm glad that the developers continue to implement changes. It's very good of them to do so.
The amount of gold will be increased, but we will lose XP boosts during events, thus events will most likely lose their original significance. This means that Blizzard did not increase rewards overall, but simply moved some event rewards to the rewards track.
In any case, we will only be able to analyze the current economy and objectively assess any damage and benefits towards the end of the expansion phase.
Now is definitely not the time to panic. Let's hope for the best. However, I advise you to stop buying and opening Darkmoon Faire packs before the new mini set is released. You should save your gold, dust and money. We are sure of only one thing: we will definitely need our resources.
Finally, as always, we have prepared new polls.
We want to measure your level of satisfaction with the metagame, and find out what you think about mini sets. Do we need an additional 35 cards? Share your opinion in the comments, and also go to our community tab page and take part in the polls.
Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us.
And special thanks to Chris for text editing.
We will meet in new videos.
Good luck.